Welcome back, everybody. So my next movie review for you is Blair Witch, the 2016 version. But once again, before we get into this movie review, if you could please like, share and subscribe to my channel, that would be very, very much appreciated. Now, I do know that this is the third installment in this franchise, and I have missed the second movie out. The reason why I haven't done the second movie yet is, one, I want to review that at a later date because I'm not a huge fan of it, and two, I haven't actually seen the 2016 version until this evening, and because I watched the original that got released in 1999 yesterday, I thought it was only fitting to review this one straight afterwards. So Blair Witch was released on September 16th, 2016. Its director was Adam Wingard. It was made on a budget of $5 million US and made $45.2 million US in the box office. The cast in this movie consists of James Allen McCune, I think that's how you say his name, Callie Hernandez, Corbin Reed, we got Valerie Callery plus Wes Robinson. So in this next installment, we once again see a group of people enter this creepy, mysterious wood, and once again, it's not long before some creepy and weird, mysterious stuff actually starts happening in this I should say, these people. Now, what do I honestly think about it? This is an interesting one for me because I am such a massive fan of the first movie. So I went into this one a little bit skeptical, knowing it is a newer release and it potentially is gonna have a different vibe. Now, I can actually safely say that I finished watching this movie about half an hour ago, and yes, I do actually enjoy it to a certain point, which I will get into right about now. So here we go, Blair Witch movie review. Now I do enjoy this movie, okay, I don't enjoy it as much as the first one. There are reasons for this. The first reason is for the first hour it was pretty much like a mirror of the original movie that got released in 1999, and I did find myself, or my concentration kind of swaying off, or I started to become a little bit bored, or my eyes started to come off the screen a little bit and started to kind of focus on other stuff. And the only reason this happened is because of obviously the first movie. It is pretty much a mirror image of the first movie. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because they do add some extra little bits in here. There are more people in this movie as well, and they added some subtle different storylines going on. In other words, one of the characters in here is the brother of Heather who went missing in the first movie. It's a nice little added touch. He's going there to try and find out what happened to her mysterious disappearance. I like that kind of side of it. It's really, really good, but essentially what you're actually waiting for is the last half an hour, and it is by far the best part of their movie. They kind of up the ante in this third installment, which I think they got the correct balance. Yes, you do actually see the witch in this movie, but you don't see a huge amount of her for you to spoil it. There's always that kind of case of imagination, and you never get a full kind of glimpse at her, so you're just kind of, your mind is still just enough kind of ticking over and to try and make up your own interpretation of what she actually looks like. But what you do see is actually quite creepy, and that last half an hour is by far the best part of this movie. There is a certain amount of predictability in this movie as well, I cannot lie. There were certain scenes that were going on, I was going, well, I actually kind of know what's going to go on here or what's going to happen. It is building up to this. And yes, that might have put a slight dampener on this movie, that they lost. There was, because of that predictability, it kind of lost its suspenseful feel in certain areas of this movie. But that whole half an hour did have a very, very creepy, suspenseful build up and feel to this. I actually was getting a little bit creeped out because I believe what they did here was enough to get you on the edge of your seat. It's not really, really scary. I didn't find it really, really scary. I wasn't really jumping. I just like the fact that these people are being stalked by something, and they are not shy to actually show you or let you hear whatever is chasing them is not far away, and there is a goal there, and there is a drive and motivation, and this thing or witch isn't going to stop at anything. There is a very, very good twist or turn at the end of this movie, and I think they nailed that really, really well. I found it very, very good. At a time where people's emotions are really, really running high, the fact that this witch or being or entity used these emotions against these people to get her will or get her desire, I think that part, just that end 3 minutes of this movie kind of made this movie a lot better for me. I really enjoyed what they did. Just being stalked or being chased throughout this house, I just really enjoyed that kind of side of it. Like I said, it's not scary. I didn't find it scary, or like, but it was creep. It was that creep factor that you get from here. Now, when I say I don't find it scary, if I was put into that situation in a real life, then yeah, I would be in that exactly same position as what they were. But as a whole, yes, the first hour is pretty much a mirror of the first movie, and I did find myself getting a little bit bored. My concentration started to lapse, but that last half an hour made up for this because I generally enjoyed watching that last 30 minutes. It's a massive build up for something which I think they nailed quite well. It's not the scariest ending to a movie or a horror movie that I've ever seen, but it was enough for me to go, okay, I like what you did here. So, if I was to rate this, and before I just actually rate this, performances in here aren't the best. Okay, they're not brilliant, they're not fantastic. There is one standout performance in here which you see her go through quite a lot of emotional trauma, and I do generally get on board with her character. You really you start to feel her anxiety, her pain, her all of her emotions coming out at a certain point in this movie, mainly going through a tunnel. I think that scene when she's trying to crawl through a tunnel, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and her performance, just her performance in this movie was enough as well for me to just get on board with this. So if I was to give this a rating, I would give this a 6 or 7 out of 10. I'm gonna go 6 out of 10, okay? Because not all the performances in here were that good. They weren't all necessarily needed. The inclusion of 3 people in this movie would have been quite significant, but the fact that they added another 2, which didn't really add a huge amount into this movie, in my personal opinion, and the fact that the first hour is pretty much a mirror of the first movie, and where my concentration started to lapse, I started to become a little bit bored because I'd essentially seen it before. But for that last 30 minutes, made up for that first hour, which just made it a very, very enjoyable watch. Like I said, it's not amazingly scary. There is a creep factor. There's that ever-rising kind of anxiety and worry, and just that something's building towards that climatic finale. And there is quite, and like I said, those last 3 minutes of this movie, or even 5 minutes of this movie, I think they've done a really, really good job here, to be fair. I really, really do, in my personal opinion. So that is the reason why I'm going to get this 6 out of 10. So on that note, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below as normal. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care, and goodbye.